Hey everybody, Steve Schirmer, the Golf Game Podcast here with your one and done picks for the 2024 FedEx St. Jude Championship. And we are coming right down to the wire, but we got two big money events coming your way. A last opportunity to catch up and maybe surpass the leaders in your one and done pool to get in the money. We really got to nail these picks. Your pool of good players is probably getting a little short. So you got to be maybe a little creative, maybe think a little bit outside the box this week. If you haven't used some one of these good players, you run out of time. But let's try and pick a good guy to have in your one and done contest for the FedEx St. Jude. We're going to TPC Southwind this week, and a lot of things that you want to value at this golf course, you probably valued last week at Sedgefield. You know, they have the same agronomy on the greens. They're both champion Bermuda greens, so obviously target guys who are pretty comfortable putting on champion Bermuda greens or just have success in Southwind. There also is a very high degree of penalty for missed fairway. And both of them have, the Bermuda rough, which is manageable at Southwind. But the biggest issue at Southwind is there's a lot of water, and especially around the greens. So if you are missing in the rough at Southwind, you really can bring a lot of water into play at this place, and you really have to avoid that. So that's really kind of the name of the game. This used to be a really difficult golf course relative to par for PGA Tour standards, but that was with a lot of weaker fields when it was the week before the U.S. Open. When you've added really strong fields to this event, and just with as good a technology guys are using nowadays, it plays a lot easier. But the goal is still the same: keep it out of the water, keep it in front of you. And if you do that, you can have a pretty nice week. So target some guys who not only been pretty good here, but good at some other penal golf courses. This is shorter as well. So you're looking at your Sawgrasses, your Harbor Towns, your Travelers, your Concessions. Those types of golf courses tend to have similar leaderboards as what we're going to see here. So maybe target guys are pretty good at those places. You'll find a good pick for this week. So let's go over 5 picks that I have for your one and done contest. Number 5, let's go with Billy Horschel first. Let's see if maybe we can get a little bit of good mojo coming his way. Obviously, helping Aaron Rai. Maybe, trying to take maybe a little bit of the spotlight off Aaron Rai with some of his antics. But hey, listen, he was a good guy to play with along the way with Aaron Rai winning last week. But what makes you really like Billy Horschel is you see he's in great form. Obviously, he almost won the Open Championship, did very well last week, starts to peak around the FedEx Cup playoffs as well. He's got a great track record during this stretch of golf here. Great track record at TBC Southwind as well. A bunch of top 10s and 20s. Iron play is really starting to trend up. Putts really well on champion Bermuda greens. And he's won some big-time events. He knows what it takes to win. And he definitely could stay hot and win this thing. So Billy Horschel, potential one-and-done pick for this tournament. Number 4, let's go with Justin Thomas. And, with how he sprays the ball, you wouldn't think he'd be a very good fit for this place. But this type of golf course, this template of shorter, plotter, positional, that seems to be what Justin Thomas has been really good at lately. And, at least with recent finishes, he's been struggling for the last 2 years, but his best finishes have come in places like Harbor Town and Travelers and Southwind even too. He's a former winner here. He's been pretty good at these types of tracks with a lot of water where you have to keep it right out in front of you. And he's got off to really good starts lately. He's first round leader at Scottish Open, got off to a really good start at the Open at Royal Troon. So the fact that he's starting to put together some really good rounds, maybe, Justin Thomas might be starting to peak a little bit. He might be a little bit of an under radar pick for this week. So I like him a lot. I think he's definitely a good candidate for one and done because he's been pretty bad for most of the year. Chances are you haven't used him at all. Maybe this is a good week to use him. Number 3, let's go with Patrick Cantlay. You probably have used him by now. But if you haven't, you probably think, okay, Bermuda, why would I use Patrick Cantlay here? Well, kind of like with Justin Thomas, he's been pretty good at some of these shorter plotter positional tracks, your Harbor Towns, your Travelers, Pebble Beach even. And the one concern, like I just mentioned, was Bermuda, but he's kind of alleviated those concerns for me. Maybe it's because he's moved down to Florida, so he's more comfortable putting on the surface now. But, runner-up finish last year, lost in a playoff. He did really well at Pinehurst, all Bermuda. That was something I totally discounted from him. And ever since it seems like he went back to his old irons, he's starting to hit the ball really good. So with that iron play in check and a good track record here, maybe a good place if you haven't used Patrick Cantlay to finally use him. He's been largely forgettable this year, so maybe you haven't used him. This might be a good place for him. Number two, maybe I'm a sucker, but I'm going to keep going back to the well with Ludwig. I bet him outright. I was very disappointed with what he did at the Olympics, but he hit the ball really good, and that's really encouraging. His form coming in kind of reminds me of what Will Zalatoris was doing ahead of when he won here, where he had a lot of elite finishes earlier in the year. We're kind of wondering when that big breakthrough win was going to happen. Yes, Ludwig has won, but we're looking for the big signature win. He doesn't have that yet. And Zalatoris was kind of doing similar things, some ho-hum finishes going over to Europe. Didn't all that good for him, but then he came to Southwind, coming in with really good ball striking form, ends up winning this tournament. And maybe this will be the one that Ludwig finally wins. He's been good on similar tracks like Sea Island and Harbor Town and Sawgrass. So I know he can handle this style of golf. He's very accurate off the tee. The iron play, like I just mentioned, is trending. Really good between 100 and 200 yards. He's struggling with the putter right now, but he's put really well in Bermuda. So I don't have a lot of concerns for him with that respect. I think he's going to turn around this week and post a good finish. But number one, look, I didn't bet him outright because I don't think I can get up. I don't think I can get over him just constantly losing at the end. But what if I'm wrong? I was wrong about Aaron Rye last week on him on Bermuda. So maybe this is just going to be kind of a rough stretch where I overthink things. And I have not used Tommy Fleetwood in one and done this year. He is available for me and coming in with good form. He might have, he probably was, should have won this tournament last year. He was in the mix, missed a couple putts down the stretch like Tommy Fleetwood usually does. But look, if Aaron Rye can be spoon-fed a win, a chronic loser, why can't Tommy Fleetwood be spoon-fed a win at this place, especially at a place that has a lot of crazy finishes? We've had 3 straight playoffs here because they play 18 in the playoff and they play 11 in the playoff, and they got, the leaders have to go through those holes. With all the water that comes into play, there can definitely be some swings. And who's to say maybe Tommy Fleetwood finally gets on the right end of things and comes through for his first win. He obviously fits this place. He's accurate. The iron play has been trending up for him. Great putt on Bermuda. Maybe this is going to be the week for him. So now I'm going to make Tommy Fleetwood my one and done pick for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe to the Golf Gambling Podcast on Apple or Spotify. Also follow us on TikTok and Twitter. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel here. We give you free content even through the fall, by the way. I know golf season is ending, which maybe it ended for you already at the Open Championship, but there is still golf this fall. We'll have plenty of content there, might even some NFL content as well. So stay tuned. So with that, thank you for watching. Good luck with your one and done picks. Good luck with your bets for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We'll see you next week for the BMW Championship.